So much of our lives is dictated by our preferences, what we like and don't like. We all naturally gravitate towards that which we find attractive, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But we need to be aware that there are things deeper than our preferences. If we do not recognize that, we will follow them addictively and never uncover our soul's deeper desires. Often the very things that don't appeal to us have the most to teach us in a spiritual sense. I'm not that frequently in galleries, but if you're like me, you'd much rather spend time in the classical, medieval or Renaissance galleries than at a modern art exhibition. We tend to be attracted to whatever version of art makes us feel comfortable or reflects our own worldview. And we play this game of preference even in what we've deemed the sacred art of the Psalms. We prefer the calm, rustic scene of Psalm 23, but cringe when the psalmist mirrors back to us the messiness, violence and confusion of being human. St. John Cassian taught that the Psalms carry in them all the feelings of which human nature is capable. The poet Kathleen Norris writes of her experience of singing the Psalms 3 times a day as a guest in a Benedictine monastery. She says, "The Psalms demand engagement. They ask you to read them with your whole self, praying, as St. Benedict says, in such a way that our minds are in harmony with our voices. You come to the Bible's great book of praises through all the moods and conditions of life. And while you may feel like hell, you sing anyway. To your surprise, you find that the Psalms do not deny your true feelings, but allow you to reflect on them." But to the modern reader, the Psalms can seem impenetrable. How in the world can we read, let alone pray, these angry and often violent poems from an ancient warrior culture? At a glance, they seem overwhelmingly patriarchal, ill-tempered, moralistic, vengeful, and often seem to reflect precisely what is wrong with our world. And that's the point, or part of it. As one reads the Psalms every day, it becomes clear that the world they depict is really not so different from our own. The 4th century monk Athanasius wrote that the Psalms become like a mirror to the person singing them. The Psalms remind us that the way we judge each other with harsh words and acts of vengeance constitutes injustice. And they remind us that it is the powerless in society who are overwhelmed when injustice becomes institutionalized. In expressing all the complexities and contradictions of human experience, the Psalms act as good psychologists. They defeat our tendency to try to be holy without being human first. The Psalms, like all great art, lead us to a truer image of ourselves and reality and to God.
Under the shadow
This prayer is called Psalm 2020. When will this COVID-19 pandemic be over, dear Lord? When will the fear, suffering, and death stop? How will you make things right for those who have lost their jobs and their livelihoods? Those who are sick, or who have lost family members and friends? God, make this virus go away. Heal the sick. Take away our fear. Show some mercy. Help those who need your assistance, though they do not know how to call out to you. You have been there before to assist us in times of need. So I make this personal plea. Where there is stress, help us manage it. Where there is illness, help us cure it. Where there is fear, help us chase it. Focus our attention and intention today on what really matters. I trust you and know there are better days ahead. Amen.